Good morning, guys. Today I'm gonna take you with me as I go up in the field and milk our dairy goats. River. That way, sweetie. Stand on you, huh? Come on. This way. Girl. Look at Kate patiently waiting her turn. So we got 3 quarts and a little bit here off of 3 goats, and we're actually going to take Kate and put her back and put Millie on the stand. And Millie, we're not actually milking her right now, but we still put her on the stand every day for a minute or two just so she can stay in the same routine. All right, Kate, let's go. Go ahead. We'll just let her have a little bit of a snack there, and then we'll put her back and get the fence moved.
just got done with morning chores. Elizabeth just got done milking. Looks like it's starting to get a little overcast here today, and it's actually really nice. It's only about 70 degrees, and that's a big difference from 95 to 100 it's been for the past like month, it feels like. So we got a couple projects we can do today since it's a little cooler. One, we got to take all this hay that's under this tarp, and we got to make room for it in our little homemade carport here. Our grain, the amount of grain we're going to need is going to start dwindling here over the next month or so, because we're down to our last batch in the brooder, and we have about 7 weeks until we're completely done with broiler chickens, and we have about the same amount of time until we're completely done with turkeys. So over the next month and a half to 2 months, the amount of grain needed on farm will drastically be reduced. So basically we just got to find a different spot to put the grain where it's easily accessible, you know, for the little bit we're going to have over winter. But we might have to build something. I'm not sure yet. All I do know is I want to get this hay out from underneath this tarp, and maybe even up on some pallets in here in case it does rain. You know, the water kind of flows downhill. I don't want all the hay to get moldy on the bottom, so we got to get it moved. So after we get our hay moved, we got a few things that need to be picked from our big garden. Problem? Apparently they don't like me talking. Come on, bye-bye. Trying to talk to the people, you guys are being loud. Keep going. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. See you later. Keep on going. Keep going. Goodbye. Goodbye. Stay over there. Thanks. Crazy geese. Alright, so after we get done with the hay, we got to go up to the big garden here. And yesterday there was a whole bunch of orangish to reddish tomatoes, and it's a little cooler today, so I'm hoping they're pretty much all ripe and ready to be picked. We got a whole bunch of beans that need to be picked, and then we need to check our peaches because I think they're just about ripe. Maybe not quite ready yet, but we're gonna go check on those too. And then lastly, if we have enough time, we have our old rabbit cage holder that we originally built for our raking house. It's set in the middle, just like came out of the Polyface design book. So it's just like what they do at Polyface. And when we had all of our snow crush our greenhouse this winter, it crushed that rabbit cage holder as well. And I've since repaired it. And I'd like to expand a little bit on our rabbit operation and add a few more does. So what I want to do is take that structure and cut it in half, and it should be big enough to hold 4 of those larger rabbit cages. So I need to get that down here, get it cut, repaired, and put in here. So if we have enough time, we'll get that done today too. And apparently I don't own a pair of gloves. Oh well. Alright, so we gotta clean this stuff up because I need to get it out of my way. It looks like the kids have already busted into the hay down here for the boys since we can't keep them in electric fencing, which sucks. So we're just gonna get this stuff out of our way. That way we can get this hay unloaded. Unloaded. I mean, brought in here. Well, it's not perfect, but it's done. All right, coffee break time, then we'll get to the rest of it. All right, another cup of coffee down. Now we can go pick vegetables. We had a lot of wind yesterday, so we have to go through and fix these tomato plants. I think almost every one of them on the back row here where the wind comes off the side of the mountain has fallen over, or at least is leaning some. So we got a few T-posts we're gonna put in and try and string these back up. They definitely did not like that wind though. Elizabeth's picking beans.
Babe, look. We got purple beans.
Purple beans! Hey, hang on, let me get a close up.
Finally, these ones took forever to grow.
And there's some, there's a little small. Finally, I think our potatoes are dying back, so it's allowing these beans to grow a little better. Finally.
It's nice that it's cooled down
Look
too.
at that big old bee on that flower down there. Oh, where'd he go? Big old bumblebee. Pretty cool. Yeah, this is all winter squash. And there's a lot, and it's kind of taking over the garden. It's lining out everywhere.
I love it.
Yeah, it's cool. Nice and green up here. Might be one of, I would say it's like number one out of 2 really good gardens we've had. So Maddie picked the rest of our white onions. Pretty cool.
Compost the fur.
Yeah.
Get the crap out of me.
So everybody's a little bit on edge today because Nicholas was up feeding the big chickens yesterday, and he went to step foot in the chicken tractor, the Suskevich style ones. He opened the door and he heard a rattle, and he looked down and there was a medium-sized rattlesnake inside with the chickens. So I went up there and took care of it, but everybody's a little scared today because of that, and especially when walking around in this, because we have seen snakes up here. Not any rattlesnakes, bull snakes and gardener snakes, but still, you never know. So we decided this is going to be a winter garden. We're going to come in here and probably just plant beans. We didn't have a huge crop of beans this year, but we're hoping that it's going to cool off enough where we can start planting these. About the end of August, it's probably enough time to grow them out. I think they take 50 days, so we should have some beans before it snows. Look at them. Isn't they pretty? I love it. Almost got the tote full. All right, let's get these T-posts in the ground. All right, that's everything for the big garden. We got a little tote of tomatoes. We got onions, scallop squash, peppers, some beans. Not a lot of beans, but some.
There's some more in the raised beds.
Yeah, and then ask you guys, maybe maybe some of you know more about tomatoes than I do. So we've had this plant and one other one that just completely died. I don't know what happened. I pulled up the other one, assuming that maybe a pocket gopher had gotten and eaten the roots or something. And none of the other ones around it look like that. It's just, we lost 2 plants. I don't know what's going on. The leaves started curling up, and then they turned that color and just slowly died. And they even had tomatoes on them. If you know, comment below, let me know. All right, down to the raised beds. These loofah sponges are pretty cool. Yeah, they've completely overtaken this arch.
Isn't it pretty?
It's awesome. And when we first planted them, they weren't getting watered enough and they just weren't growing. I mean, they were tiny. And then all of a sudden, surprise, they get a little bit more water and look what happens. What'd you say, Maddie? Oh yeah, those are pretty.
They're mostly pink though.
Yep. And then we got this. We just got like a jungle down here, guys. This is awesome. It's organized chaos. Our basil went to seed. Oh well.
I froze a bunch.
Oh, that's good. Lettuce. It's all seeded. We need to pull it out, but we're waiting for it to cool down so we can have some fall lettuce here. It's still too hot. And what happens if it gets too hot, anything above 70, 75 degrees, it grows too quickly and it ends up bolting. And then you get a really bitter tasting leaf lettuce, which is not good. Oh, poor thing. He's growing through the fence so that every time the chickens go by, they just peck it a little bit. And then he keeps growing, but I don't think he's gonna make it. We'll see. You know, I wonder if actually if we move him away from the fencing.
The fencing going inside of him.
Here. All right, maybe we saved him. Oh, look at that one. Pretty cool. But Beth did.
I killed him.
She pulled her whole plan out.
Well, I snapped him right at his roots.
Poor guy.
It's alright, he was done anyway.
How do you know?
He just is. Ducks will like him.
If you want a job done right, you got to do it yourself.
I yanked it too hard.
Ta-da, beans. That's mainly from the raised beds. There's way more beans planted up in our big garden than there is the raised beds. And this raised bed, hands down, puts off way more beans. Pretty cool. All right, that's 2 things down I wanted to get done today. I'm gonna go get some lunch and then I can work on my little rabbit cage holder. All right, just had lunch. Let's go grab this rabbit thing. Figured I better let the chickens out first, so came over and closed up the grain bags. But I'm almost willing to bet money if we don't do something with this, we're gonna have a pile of eggs back there at some point. As soon as the chickens discover it, they will run over here and that'll be the first place they lay their eggs. Guarantee it. All right, let's let these little rascals out. Come on, you little dinos. Let's go. Let's go. Isn't it pretty? Half of them go over there. Half of them go straight to the grain bag. See? Luckily I just tied them up or they'd be all over them. Already enjoying the hay too. So those of you that are new here, this used to be our greenhouse. And we had it for 1 season. And this winter, we had about 3 feet of snow dump on us overnight. Started about midnight, ended about 5 a.m. And by that time, what had happened is I didn't know enough about these things to have a support holding onto the front, the back, on both sides, all 4 sides. So what happened is we got so much snow, the weight pulled the ends in, and as soon as the ends started getting pulled in, the metal support poles, the round poles that went over the top, literally just collapsed. So what happened then, when one collapsed, they all started collapsing. And I've taken it apart. This is what we're left with. This is all our wood. This is all our broken poles. All of the main frame poles on the side, they're all good. So at some point, when our budget permits it, we can actually come through here and rebuild this. So this is the thing I'm after. And as you can see, it used to hold 8 cages. So I'm thinking if I cut it in half, add a couple support beams on both sides, I should be able to put 2 cages on both sides, 2 of the larger ones, and have some of the older cages right there that the greenhouse actually collapsed on. And you can see, I had to throw a couple away, but you can see a lot of the damage that was done when this thing collapsed. I don't know how. We got lucky. Somehow we were able to save all of our rabbits, all of our chickens, and nothing died. So thankful for that. Now I'm probably just gonna have to get one of the kids to help me carry this thing because it's not light. Also, while we're up here, right next to that tractor yesterday is where we killed that rattlesnake. That was a little scary for the kids. You good?
Yeah.
Got a sliver?
I got a sliver already.
Oh, we got it loaded. I'm hoping I can lift this. Let's see. Perfect. All right, we got it down here. Now we just need to modify it. I got to move a few boards, cut it here, We're gonna put a couple of cages on this side too. These are the larger 36 by 36. The only other ones I have are 24 by 30s. So I think I can put those two right next to each other here, and we should have 4. It's gonna be a little bit bigger than I wanted. I was hoping I could half it, but these cages are so large that they hang a little further. That's all right. All right, we're gonna get to work on that. Thanks for joining us. I think we got a lot done today. We'll see you in the next one.